what makes the ending of any match amazing is the finisher. And we at Triple Threat Wrestling are going to break down the best finishers of all time. And I'm excited to get into this MVP. It's going to be an awesome episode. I don't know if we're going to have the same ones. I got a lot of good ones. I'm really excited about this episode. So stick around, drop your favorite finisher in the comments. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We drop daily wrestling content. And make sure you check right above me here for the WWE shop link. It's an affiliate link. It's no extra charge for you, but you help support your boys at the Triple Threat Wrestling Podcast, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to let you go first. Top finishers of all time. Devastating finishers. What do we got?
In our eyes, at least.
In our eyes, yeah. Highly debated.
My top one, my number one, it comes out of nowhere most of the time. The RKO. Big WCW fan here, so I really like Diamond Dallas Page. And his Diamond Cutter was I liked his Diamond Cutter. And you could kind of make it similar to like the Stone Cold Stunner. But it was more of but he landed on his back. I'm like, okay, cool. And then what did he say? Like the Diamond Cutter, you never see it coming. And then Randy Orton just took it beyond that, out of nowhere. And I mean, what is he, 14-time champion?
That's true.
Won all 14 with the RKO. My number one.
It's a solid finisher. The Diamond Cutter.
Plus, you can do it to anybody. Randy Orton, not the. Well, I mean, now he's pretty big, but back when he started, not the biggest guy, and you need to, I don't know, eventually get the Big Show into a finish, and you're not gonna do that, manhandling him like Cena does when you don't have Cena's strength. So you get the RKO.
And the Diamond Cutter, like it was good, but it's like it took a little bit more. I don't want to say setup, but like it took a little bit longer to get into it. Just a little bit. Like I'm talking like seconds here, not like he's slowly doing it, but the RKO literally like boom, like you don't expect it right there, like.
Plus, Randy Orton when he first started jumped out the building, so he used that into his cutter, so he had like a more of a jumping cutter, and it made it a little bit more athletic and dare say more devastating.
Yeah, and I mean catching it out of nowhere, Seth Rollins when he got reversed into it, and Evan Bourne gets reversed into it. Those are all great.
Those
moments.
Are awesome.
My number one, and I picked finishers like I'm trying to go against the grain. I'm not just picking my favorites like the Mount Rushmore last time. Last video we did, I'm trying new things. So on this one, I picked finishers specifically for how I feel like, is it a true finisher, right? I'm going to, disclosure here, I don't have like the angle slam on here because it's just, it was a finisher, but I'm picking ones that like, that's going to knock someone out. They're done. First pick for me, the curb stomp, Seth Rollins. And now it's just the stomp, but thanks a lot, American History X. We can have the curb but,
Ed Norton.
Shout out Ed Norton on the podcast. No, but like just hitting the opponent with that, and like your foot goes on their head and just drives them into the mat.
Yes,
like, we're talking concussions. We're talking all these things that storyline wise, right? That could happen. It's devastating. Like the curb stomp is a great finisher, and by the way, it couldn't belong to the more perfect wrestler for it. Seth Rollins is the curb stomp. I couldn't see anyone else doing that move and it being that, devastating. So I'm going curb stomp.
Well, there was an iteration of it back then. I want to say Paul Burchill used it, but it wasn't the athletic, I'm going to jump in the air, catch you with my foot on the way down, and drive it into the mat. His was more like I'm going to lift your head up with my foot on the back of your head and then just like drive it in.
Yeah.
that was I guess that was more I don't know, psychotic kind of, but more devastating would go to Seth Rollins because he actually like gets air and just drives your head through the mat.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, my number 2. I'm gonna go with the Jackhammer.
I really wanted this one, by the way, but I'll let you have it.
Okay, so big Goldberg fan here. Big surprise. Um, oh, but the absolute perfect fit. I mean, he had the perfect setup to it too, the spear, but the perfect finisher given his size and his strength. The vertical suplex lift into a power slam, and when he did it, it was pretty devastating. Like, almost nobody kicked out of it. So I'm going, yeah, Jackhammer.
Yeah, no, the Jackhammer was awesome. And I mean, just like you said, the vertical suplex into the power slam. I don't recall anyone doing that before him. Not at least that I
Uh,
saw mainstream like that.
I think Dean Malenko did that off the second rope.
I don't think I would consider that like the Jackhammer though, right? Like just drill them into the mat. But Dean Malenko, by the way, shout out Dean Malenko. He was awesome.
We'll get more into Dean Malenko later.
Foreshadowing. I'm gonna go number 2. Again, devastating maneuvers that would just completely take out someone. The Tombstone Piledriver. And an argument could be made for Kane's Tombstone, but I'm talking Undertaker's. Just because, like, the setup, like you said, the setup is everything too. So when they're like, just getting up and they're groggy, just taking the straps down and cutting the throat, and then you just drill them into the ground.
Yeah.
The Tombstone was awesome, and he did it to a lot of big guys that weighed a lot more than him too. And to do that move to keep your opponent safe too, like in the ring.
Yeah.
Shout out to Undertaker. I mean, unless you're Hulk Hogan and you threaten that, he crippled me or whatever, but oh, you broke my back, brother. Oh. But no, the Tombstone is awesome and perfect guy for the Tombstone too. So I'm gonna do that. But Kane's Tombstone, he really got a little bit of a hop to it.
Yeah, he jumped.
Yeah, Kane's was very good, but I like the Undertaker's more.
I mean, Undertaker used that jumping one in his last match with Shawn Michaels, his last one-on-one match with Shawn Michaels.
Yep.
He's like, ending your career right now. Boom.
Well, he did kind of antagonize him into it.
Yeah, true. Tombstone, that's a good one. Okay, my next one. Let's go Ariel. I'm going with the Shooting Star Press. The first time I saw it, it was done by Billy Kidman. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what was it called? The 7-year itch.
yeah. The 7-year itch. It was a Shooting Star Press, and then over the years we have, you said Evan Bourne. Yeah. Evan Bourne's was pretty spectacular, and then we have Ricochet. I think he probably did it the best. Ricochet, his body control, and then it's a backflip. It's a forward going backflip, and to do it off the top rope. Yeah. I always thought it was a beautiful looking finish.
And you got to be precise with it too, because like when you
absolutely.
jump, like you can undershoot it or overshoot. Literally, Shooting Star Press, overshoot, undershoot. But you could screw it up easily. But you got to be like easily, crispy.
Yeah, No, like Billy Kidman toward like the later, like the end of his career when he was in WWE. I think when he did it, he put his knee through Chavo Guerrero's head, giving him concussion.
Yeah, no, that's
so. Yeah, absolutely. You have to. The timing's got to be perfect.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's a good one. My next one we were talking about the Undertaker, and then that led into a little bit of a Shawn Michaels talk. But speaking of Shawn Michaels, the Sweet Chin music.
Okay.
You got to go Sweet Chin music. I mean, it was kind of one of those that came out of nowhere too, but the way he did it and the sound he can make with it.
Yeah.
Now, the only one that I would say is right up there with him is Chris Adams. If you remember back in the 80s,
the gentleman Chris Adams.
Yep. And you could hear it through the arena, like how loud that super kick was, it pop in the mouth there. Shawn Michaels is obviously, he did it the best for me. Just because of the whole, like, again, the setup. You stand in the corner of the ring, you tune up the band, and you just hit him right in the face, right? And doing it to, like, the Undertaker, who's a lot taller, right? That's talented, that, like, and to throw your leg up there, you're not really looking up when you're doing it. You're looking down. So to get your leg that high and right where it needs to be, that's really difficult.
You really need to, like, seesaw your body.
Yeah.
Get that up there. Yeah.
Yeah. And, again, I'm finding a trend as we're recording that I didn't intend to. Every finisher is, like, perfect for the guy that is doing it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So far. But Sweet Chin music all day. I love it.
I mean, it's a tragedy what we see in wrestling nowadays, how that finisher is just being so hoarded out. I mean, look at AEW. They have 2.5 super kicks every other match.
Especially with what is it? Spears. It's another one of those where it's like that's why I didn't pick a spear on mine, me personally, because I'm like I see it so much. Like, I want unique, devastating maneuvers.
You'll have like 3 spears on a PLE.
Yeah. Yep. And before you get into yours, that was always an argument of mine, right? So, like, Roman Reigns' finisher is a spear. Like, Braun Breaker has, like, a spear. But, like, if I see, like, Dominic Mysterio do a spear, how is that different than Roman hitting his? It's the same move. Like, and you can argue, well, size and whatever, but it's like, if you see it with so many people, then it, like, kind of desensitizes you to how devastating it could actually be. They should really save, like, when people were doing, like, their finishers, like, I don't remember seeing other people doing them back in the day, like, even in their match at all. Like, Shawn Michaels had a super kick. No one else was really doing super kicks during a match because that was Shawn Michaels' move. Now it's like everyone just borrows from each other. Like, there's a few exceptions, like Sami Zayn's finisher. No one's doing that in their match. So, like, that feels to me like devastating enough that it could be a finisher,
Well, here's another thing too. So when Edge adopted the spear, I was never a believer in it because he's a lanky, like, dude. I understand, like, the spears because, like, all right, so Roman does it. I'm cool with that. Braun Breaker does it. I'm cool with that. Goldberg does it. I'm cool with that because they were all football players.
Yeah.
They all tackled. When Bobby Lashley does it, I'm not sold because he does that little roll at the end of it.
The little barrel roll, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to earn some style points by doing. I mean, I get it. You're trying to be unique, but I feel like it takes away from the finisher. It makes it less devastating. And we're just talking about the spear here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Off topic.
Yeah, we're getting a little tangent here. It's all right.
Yeah. All right. My number 4, not the sharpshooter. Because I grew up being a WCW fan, and this move was called the Scorpion Deathlock.
All right, I'll let you go.
Sting's Scorpion Deathlock. Now, has it won Sting as many matches as Bret Hart won with the sharpshooter? No. But the overall presentation, these Sting, Um, Scorpion is his logo, and I think in Japan this move is literally called the Scorpion Deathlock, and it was taught to him by Conan. Oh no, I might be off base here. I think Conan taught Bret Hart the Scorpion Deathlock, and then he's the Hitman, so he named it the Sharpshooter. But we're going with its original name for me, the Scorpion Deathlock. The move, the hold looked awesome. The setup pretty simple, but if you look at it from an outside perspective, it's a cool looking hold.
Oh yeah. It kind of looks like a scorpion in a way, because like the flat body and then like the tail comes up. That's the person doing it. Like it looks like a scorpion, so it's a good name.
And then I don't know what to say. It's awesome.
You definitely have experience doing them to some of my family members, so we'll get into that. And maybe we'll do a short on like
shout out to Tiffany.
Yeah. All right, I'm on number 4. My number 4, I'm going with the coup de grace, Finn Balor. Again, we don't see people doing that, a lot. And coming off the top rope, and it's like everyone knows, right, that like wrestling is like you're protecting your opponent. It's staged, not staged. I would say scripted to a degree. That's one of the moves where I'm like, how do you do that safely?
No, dude, words out of my mouth. Like, I've seen that from every angle. Even back in the day, Low-Key did that as his finisher, the way of the Warrior's way. I slowed it down. I looked at all angles, look at every time he's done it. I cannot pinpoint a single way he lands where it shouldn't cave in his chest.
Yeah. And it's like, even if you are doing it safely, like, if you're like bouncing your feet up that like we're not seeing to alleviate the pressure, like that's talent and athleticism on Finn Balor's part.
Oh yeah.
To not do that, right? So to jump off the top rope and just stomp into your opponent, that would take me out. I'd be out for days. I would not be able to do anything. So I think that's a great finisher. Good name.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like when he looks like the demon when he does it too. When he looks like the demon, it just feels more devastating because he looks more devastating. But
shout out to Finn Balor. If you're watching this right now, get at us. I would like to know the secret of the coup de grace. I want to know how you can land on everybody and not just murder them.
Yeah, I would love to do, like, remember when we were kids and there was that show on TV with the dude with the black and white mask, and it was like the secrets of the magician, and he would like show you how magicians did the tricks. We need to do that, like someone dress up like a Finn Balor and show us how it's done. But
well, I mean, they did have back in the day, back in the 90s, wrestling's biggest secrets.
Oh yeah.
They need to do a second one and have the coup de grace.
Right.
My number 5. All right, here's where I foreshadowed earlier. Malenko did this finisher, and it's been my favorite finisher ever since. The Texas Cloverleaf.
I like it.
I liken it as it's a cross between a Scorpion Deathlock and a Boston Crab. So you're folding his legs over without using your own leg, and then you're turning him over essentially for a Boston Crab. But it was like the easiest thing that I could do. Okay, we all done backyard wrestling.
Yeah.
We all done basement wrestling. We've all put holds on our friends.
Yeah.
And this one was like the easiest I could do. Giving people being resistant on them letting you put holds on them. I could do this. Somebody's willing, just put them in and tap them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dean Malenko, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. His finishing hold, the Texas Cloverleaf, rounds out my 5.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and I've seen it done by people, but Dean Malenko's just hit different, if you know what I'm talking about. I
Absolutely.
liked it.
So we got Rhea Ripley doing it and Sheamus doing it. No.
Yeah. It's
Dean
like,
Malenko.
But anyway, my number 5, shout out to the total package Lex Luger, the torture rack. Because the torture rack is just, once you're up there, you don't get out of it unless you grab the ropes or something. Like you're
or
up
tap
there.
Out.
Yeah. And it's the torture rack. He's just got you up here, just pulling your body in this like bend in your side and your back. And
I want to say it's called the Argentine Backbreaker.
yeah. And I mean, he did it to the Giant. He did it to a lot bigger guys than him, but just the way he did it, like you see him in the middle of the ring just doing it, you're like, that dude's tapping. Like, you're not getting out of that. Like, unless you grab the ropes, you're cooked. Just tap out because he's going to break you. So, I mean, and Lex Luger, low-key, like, he was never a good promo and all that, but, like, deep down, I always liked Lex Luger. Like, him and Sting as a tag team, too. I always really liked Lex Luger. He was one of my like favorites that like isn't really anyone else's favorite, you know. And I really like the torture rack.
It's really funny you say he wasn't a good promo because he's got like one of the worst promos of all time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
When I beat you in the ring, you'll be beaten.
I can't even take this shirt off. You get bigger shirts. Where we at? I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
I gotta show you that later.
Yeah.
All right. Any honorable mentions, Lucky?
You know what? I do. And by the way, we've not picked any of the same ones. Like, I'm surprised by that because usually we're in sync with that. And I ain't talking Justin Timberlake, but I'll give you some. Sharpshooter, because I felt it was his version felt a little bit more of a technical wrestling version than Sting's.
Okay. Here's my difference growing up. The Scorpion Deathlock was with the right leg.
Yeah.
The Sharpshooter was with the left leg.
True. Well, you also have like Bret Hart did it and he put you over in it. Sting did this whole like, like, come on, everyone, let's do it. You know, I liked Sting's a lot. But Bret Hart was a little bit more technical looking and more professional, I guess. But other than that, I got the Pedigree because I like that one. And you don't see a lot of people doing it. Like a couple people do, but it felt like
Seth
a good
Rollins,
finisher.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Well, and all those are to shout out Triple H, you know.
Yeah.
Pay a little homage, but the Razor's Edge, I liked it because, again, the setup, right? You throw the arms out, you do it, and then you just like wipe your hands clean and pin him and beat him.
I'm glad Damian Priest is using it.
Yeah, I do. I like that it's being carried on and being used. Yeah. Didn't Sheamus use it for a time?
Yeah, the high cross.
Yeah.
But that brogue kick is just that could have been on our list too. The brogue kick, that one's pretty devastating on its own. So
that's true. The only other two I have is the Code Breaker, Chris Jericho, because I feel like you fall back on your back, that would take the wind out of you. You know, that would just kind of take you out a little bit. And then I like this move. I wouldn't say it's like very devastating, but the setup, the presentation, and like it's a head injury, but the Sister Abigail is a nice move.
Okay.
I do like the Sister Abigail. Obviously, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. He's the founder of that. But, Uncle Howdy doing his thing, paying homage, and he hits it pretty good, but it ain't Bray Wyatt's. But, I mean, I love the Sister Abigail move. It's a really good move.
Reverse STO, downward spiral like maneuver. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
All right, I have the Farouk's Dominator, Ron Simmons.
I like that.
Just kind of grab you, pick you up, and just put you back down on your face. I got the spear. Nothing more needs to be said about that. 450 splash. Now, this was the opposite of the shooting star press because you went forward 1 whole and a quarter turn. That one equally is beautiful, especially the right guy doing it. Hoovy did it pretty well. I got the F5. Now, you got a big burly man like Brock Lesnar just putting on his shoulders and tossing you like that. Looks devastating.
Yeah.
I got Chris Jericho's Lion Tamer. Now, back when he was still with WWE, whenever he wrestled some of the smaller wrestlers, instead of hitting that walls of Jericho, he would put him in the Lion Tamer. It's like, whoa. He's just like bent in half.
Yeah.
And my last one, go to sleep. The GTS.
Yeah, it's a good one. The knee hitting you right in the face, like that should knock you out. You should go to sleep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, so, and again, if you're watching, make sure that you put yours in the comments below. I mean, there could be arguments made for a whole bunch of moves we didn't put on here. Like, I was really close to picking the Styles Clash, by the way.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So, like, there's a lot of moves. Put them in the comments. What's your favorite finisher? And again, one more time, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We drop daily wrestling content. There's that QR code one more time for the WWE shop. Make sure you take advantage of that. Help support your boys at the Wrestling Podcast. Matt, we'll see you on the next one.